Welcome to Takshisala Gurukul channel. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please subscribe immediately, press the bell button and write your comments and feedback. Share with your friends as much as possible. We provide online Kundalini Raja Yoga initiation and Kundali activation in 6 months.
12. The 7 steps note, Kalekala, out of mercy, told Shanmukha to be liberated, the 7 steps to the temple of liberation, the Lord Shiva, who is Kala, out of mercy, told Shanmukha the 7 steps to the temple of liberation in this way. Son, listen, there are 7 steps to the eternally liberated state. They are, sparkling, one above the other. They tell the very meaning of the marriages. I will tell you those 7 steps that are beautifully adorned with the glory that has been attained. Listen, the hidden principle of Vedanta should be gradually understood. Just as one ascends to heaven by practicing dharma, one must attain the 7 steps mentioned above to attain the happiness of liberation. There is no other way to go to the temple of liberation except by these 7 steps. 2. These are like a garland of flowers on the royal road of the soul. They are adorned with a garland of flowers. They are trampled by the manifested Shiva group. These knowledge bases give the true word of the highest to those who believe in them. They proclaim to the good ascetics that they have it, therefore you achieve the 7 bases and attain the degree of liberation. These are the 7 simple steps to the throne of the jewel called true liberation. These steps are ready for the one who has the wealth of the soul to show himself clearly in his own appearance. The soul will appear to him without any difference like a child in the palm of his hand. I will cry out, become the soul. At my command, you will become the soul, do not doubt this. There are many means for yoga. But the 7 bases of knowledge that I will now tell you are the true means for the benefit of the soul. All the means are contained in this one. These are as follows. 7. The 7 stages. 1. Sukhichha. 2. Atmavichara. 3. Nisinga. 4. Visanikshaya. 5. Anandini. 6. Turya and 7. Turyatita, the attainment of which is the fruit of meritorious deeds of many births. 1. Sukhichha. When the aspirant gains wisdom through the fruit of good deeds of many births, he thinks thus, is what is standing in my body a ghost? Or is it something else? How can I know the truth within me? Is what I see in my mind a dream or something else? Who are those who wander about in me? For what reason do I wander? For happiness, that is, why have I not found happiness till now? When one doubts and asks the elders, they say, O man, the Supreme Being, who is the embodiment of happiness, is within you. The Supreme Being in my body, why do I not experience Him? How can I experience the full light of the soul that shines like the sun in the hearts of yogis? Will yogis tell me the true state of happiness? The first stage of happiness is to constantly think in the mind. To live in the world thinking that there is happiness in women, children, home, and fields, to be excited about the things one sees, and if happiness is not found there, to become bored, to turn around in misery and become bored, is enough. In the end, to all this business, saying no to material pleasures, and always thinking about the happiness of liberation, is the happiness of the yogi, the father, mother, and sati. He abandons the attachment to the pleasures and fortunes of the home and field. Knowing that the holy city of Kashi is the place where the liberated souls reside, he sets out on a journey with complete renunciation in his mind. He leaves home and wanders from kingdom to kingdom, searching for the Guru. He humbly asks those he meets on the way, who is the happy soul, where is he? He determines that all life in the world is miserable. He is free from all pleasures and burns the lust and anger of the mind. He cultivates virtue. He cuts down the mountain of sin with the diamond of renunciation. He desires all happiness for the sake of all. He is the den of the desire for happiness. Ask again, he does not desire achievements. He does not desire the prosperity and happiness of heaven. He nourishes his body with his own body. He walks with pure conduct. He seeks and attains the self-knowledge. He immerses his 3 faculties in the bliss of the soul, approaches the Guru and bows down to him. He stands with his head bowed and prays, O ocean of mercy, protect me. Forgive my wrongdoings. You have attained me through my past good deeds. Show me the path of liberation where I am. This is the mark of a yogi who desires happiness. Living with the concern of the good will that I can see the soul as myself, with the confidence that the Guru can show the soul and with the firm determination that I will attain the soul, is the first stage of happiness. 182. Self-reflection. Then, while near the Guru, he inquires, who am I? Why did these senses like the hand, ears, eyes etc. come with me? How did ignorance obscure the bliss of the infinite self? Shiva, Shiva, why have I come to this world? Why me, the tree of my form? How can this suffering of transmigration be destroyed? I know nothing, is the self-contemplation that seeks to know everything through the Guru's face. What is the boast of, I have simply boasted that I know everything. The pride of mine, I am like a fool, not knowing, haunts me like a demon of Brahma. I do not know what sin of birth the scourge of karma is. With such curiosity, a wise man goes to the Guru. He listens to the great words of the Guru's teachings. In this sentence, the words tat, tvam, asi are the literal meaning of Shiva, Jiva, the two, and he understands the intended meaning of those words by placing his feet on the Guru's feet. Knowing the universal principles explained by the Guru, he decides that he is the one who has a unique knowledge of all principles. He daily realizes that the body that arises from karma and hides behind karma is not himself. The self-knowledge is the knowledge of the self that he knows with pure intellect, the body within the body, the incorporeal supreme soul, the state of Brahman called Soham, and the illusion of Maya called Samohini. Okay, the Sukriti contemplates in this way again and again. The self-knowledge is the knowledge of the nature of the human beings, the field of bodily formations and the field knower who shines in the field, the knowledge of the five sheaths, the undivided mental formations, and the details of the bodily principles resulting from the fivefold formation of the five elements. He will study in the presence of the Guru, listen to philosophical ideas with respect, ponder over whether what the Shruti Guru has said is true or not, forget the differences and attain the self. By the grace of the Guru, he will abandon his foolish doubts, immerse himself in the bliss of the soul, and be in his own self, not knowing how to speak. He will practice yoga to know his true self, at the lotus feet of the Guru, so that he will not have doubts or excessive feelings, believing without doubt that his Guru will teach him self-knowledge, and he will become a meditator, thinking, he is the Supreme. In this way he will move on to the next stage. 283. The Nisinga Bhumike. When the ascetic walks on this great path with the power of detachment and wisdom, the light of the soul shines in the sky of his own heart. Then his external business is forgotten. It is Nisinga that he determines himself to be the destroyer of form, that he is the creator of name and form. Therefore, it is Nisinga that he determines himself to be the Nirlepa, the supreme ascetic, the Digambara, the master of all arts, the one who does not appear to be ignorant, the one who is free from all forms, the destroyer of three afflictions. The Brahma goddesses are the earth itself, the three worlds are the husband, and the Lord Shiva is the Lord. Just as the rays of the sun arise from the sun, illuminate the earth, and again disappear in the sun, so the principles of nature appear and disappear in them. To be certain that they are no longer associated with him is to be unattached. Examples. 1. The sun's heat is not cold or harmful to the water of the beast, which is born from the sun's heat, appears there and disappears there. Similarly, there is a false world in him, which is of unequal brightness, and it perishes as soon as it is born. What is his association with it? The sign of a person in the unattached state is that he becomes calm about the changes that occur in the world, saying, the lightning flashes appear for half a moment in the clouds of the rainy season and disappear. Just as the light from which they appear is fixed and unchangeable, so the cosmic elements arise and disappear in the radiance of their own self. But the consciousness of the self is eternally unchangeable, illuminating all appearances. 3. A magician makes and displays a large quantity of gold coins for the entertainment of the spectators. When the game is over, when the magician asks the spectators to give them coins, where have those apparent coins disappeared? Like his magic, generous illusion, its bittersweet memories of worldly pleasures appear and disappear in the otherworldly self. A man who knows that he is the truth of the unseen and the boundless, is established in the state of unchangeableness. 4. Do the whales that appear in the reservoir of water die or are they born? What profit or loss will happen to the reservoir of water that always exists? Similarly, the one who is aware of the three states of consciousness, who knows all things separately, and who knows that he has no connection with things, is Nisanga. 5. The clouds float in the sky, and there they dissolve. Their irregular waves do not belong to the sky. Nisanga is the knowledge that he is like the sky, alone, and is not disturbed by the worldly pleasures that appear and hide in the deluded eyes of the foolish. 6. The air swirls in the sky. Why does the air have amber in it? Similarly, if the air called the mind moves in the sky called the heart, the movement caused by that movement is not equal to the immovable and unattached one, the Supreme. 7. A flowing river cannot know the source of its origin. Similarly, even when the mental and intellectual formations arise, are formed, and undergo samsara, rebirth, in the Supreme, they cannot know the place of their original birth and death. Non-attachment is the determination that the Supreme Person, He, is not disturbed by the affairs of these mental formations. In this way, knowing that He is not associated with the senses of the body, mind, eyes, ears, and the external world, people, wealth, and other inanimate objects, the wise man is eternally non-attachment. In all these actions, such as insults, adornments, desires, bodily odors and worldly odors, honor and dishonor, and actions of disobedience and disobedience, the wise man is as unattached as a child. O son, the intellect becomes sorrowful because of the attachment of the soul to death due to bodily formations. The delusion of self, which causes the consciousness of the mind to be forgotten, is in the central part of the heart space. The darkness of illusion is not destroyed by the rays of the sun, moon, fire or electric light. But in the Nisanga world, the delusion of life disappears when the eye of knowledge of the soul is opened. In this way, gradually ascending the three stages of the world, one becomes The Only God, the God of the world, in the fourth world. 4.1.4. Vanishment of smell. Smell is mainly of three types, namely, body smell, world smell and scripture smell. Vanishment of smell is when all smells are burnt, only the smell of the soul is strong, and one is engaged in the practice of yoga. The earth, one's own religions, the wisdom and ignorance of the intellect, the playfulness of the senses, the activities of the mind, all these are one's own odor. Wash yourself well and now you will attain the highest yoga. The odor is indestructible. It is said that the odor is for the mirror of the intellect. Because dirt sits on the mirror, one cannot see one's face in it. To clean the mirror, one's true face shines in it. Similarly, because the odors of birth and death remain in the mind, one cannot attain one's true knowledge. Through self-yoga, the odors diminish and the soul becomes clearly visible. Another example, when a seed, or cracker, is placed in water, after some time, the dirt sits at the bottom and floats on the surface of the clear water. Similarly, in a heart disturbed by many smells, the light of the self shines in the heart, so that the meditation becomes firm. He who is in this realm of smells forgets the scent of this world. Forgetting everything external, he longs to see the artistic pleasures of his own being hidden within. In the midst of secretly meditating on the thought of the self within himself, he closes his eyes once for a moment, then opens them again. From his eyes, which are caught in the sphere of the self's light, points of the ray of happiness radiate. The world appears to him beautiful like a dream at that time. Such a wise man sees the grass and stones lying on the path as Shiva himself, and, being the knower of happiness, he cannot close or open his eyes. This state can be called blissful sleep. The scent of the world dissolves in this realm, and the yogi is happy. To experience the bliss of knowledge, when one is awakened by oneself or by others, hailstones of the mind rain down from his divine eye. This is the characteristic of the fourth stage of knowledge, 49. See the special experience of the stage in chapter 35. 5. Stage of bliss, O Shanmukha. In order to attain the attainment of the four stages of knowledge, the Supreme Being steps forward and buries himself like a sleeper in the radiance of supreme bliss. To be in slumber is considered to be an ordinary sleep, a state of ignorance. But to forget everything and be in the Supreme Being is called Jnana Samadhi or yogic sleep. The stage of bliss is to be in bliss alone, without being aware of whether one is sleeping, sitting, walking, or eating. Without any awareness of the inner and outer worlds, the fire burns in the hair follicles of his body, he is in bliss, like a parvasa, in his own world, there is no distinction between name, form and action, only a single light is seen. Shiva, Shiva, the entire world is dissolved and one fire stands, the horizons shine with unbroken radiance. He is now standing near the shore of the temple of liberation. 6. Turiya Bhumike is the illusion of life, which is the source of existence, is extinguished, the love of Om envelops the yogi. His entire senses are immersed in the nectar of bliss and become sweet. The surrounding power of ignorance fades away in him. He is now in the Turiya Bhumike. Now his entire ignorance is burnt up with its roots. The states of waking, dreaming and sleeping are hidden. The fear of the self Paramana broke the scent of the fragrance. The blissful idol appeared as itself, the Trinity hid in his nirvana mind. The mind was absorbed in the bliss of the self. The ego of the self was exposed. He became the complete bliss of himself. This is the land of The Turiyas, the place of unequaled liberation, as all the Vedas proclaim. For the seeker to reach this state, the palm of his hand becomes the palm of his hand. In this land of the supreme meaning, he does not know that he is a god or a god. He does not imagine anything other than himself. The bliss of the supreme soul rises within him. He deals with himself, like a wave of clear water. He becomes the sun and shines with the words of liberation. Liberation comes to him, as a slave of money. 587. The role of the transcendental. This role, which is called Atmalaya Leela, is invisible to the words of the mind. Here the fullness of the mind shines. Here, the happiness that one experiences should not be spoiled by saying happiness. There is no place to describe the true happiness that does not come in this way. It is not visible to the senses. No means or measures can explain it, it throws off an unequal beam of light by itself. If one exaggerates about its greatness, one may be mistaken. Since there is no other object to compare with it, if one speaks of it, it is like speaking falsely. In this role, the yogi acts as the supreme soul by itself. Listen, boy, of the 7 roles described so far, the first 3 must be achieved through the power of the mind. In the 4th role, only the bare light of the mind shines by itself, and the last 3 roles, know that they are the vast abode of liberation. The word Atitapa is simply non-conceptual. The Lord of the universe, will attain the 7 realms without leaving the body and finally attain liberation from the body. The mind, being imperishable, will dwell in the soul, and the self-luminous light will shine within it continuously. Know the state of the 7th realm yourself through your own experience, the Lord said, and became silent. 63. In this way, Digambara taught Shanmukha the determination of the 7 realms. These should be attained today and not tomorrow. These are not written instruments but are the form of the Vedas and Purusha. These condemn and cut to pieces the differences. They pave the way to the supreme liberation and cut through all enclosures. If you attain these, you will be able to enjoy eternal happiness. This is all victory. This is auspicious. If you attain this, you will be all bliss. This realm, which is in the form of prasad, is the sword that conquers time. Son, the infinite yogis have known its glory. You, at least, should attain the stage of knowledge without leaving it. It is not appropriate to teach this teaching to one who is angry, to one who slanders the truth, to one who has committed many sins, to one who walks on the wrong path, to one who weeps, to one who has not attained Brahman enlightenment, to one who is suffering from sleeplessness. Hearing all that Mrigadhara had said, Shanmukha, with folded hands, asked, how can he attain the stage of knowledge? He bowed his head and, contemplating the various stages one by one, was absorbed in bliss and meditating on the Guru, the Supreme Being. 68.